So, on this day in 1996, Arsene Wenger was unveiled as the new Arsenal manager. I wonder how that turned out. Hello, my name's Richard and welcome back to my channel over and over and over again, which features everything to do with Arsenal. Now in this video I just really want to look back on this day, the 1st of October 1996, which was of course the official unveiling of Arsene Wenger as the new Arsenal manager. Just before I get into all that, I just want to make sure that you are subscribing to my channel. If you like what I'm doing, please click the subscribe button down below. If you want to get notified every time I release a new video, please click on the bell icon, and please give this video the thumbs up if you like it as well, because that really helps to get it noticed on YouTube. Plus, if you've got any comments about Arsene Wenger, Arsene Wenger's appointment, anything to do with Arsenal really, or anything related to this video, please put your comments in the comments box as well, because I really do like to hear what you guys have to say as well. So I'll say this day, the 1st of October 1996, Arsene Wenger was officially unveiled as the new Arsenal manager. Now, it wasn't much of a surprise, was it? There'd been rumours of him coming from the start of the season really, and of course the signings of French players, Patrick Vieira and Remy Gard, had really got the talk going, and of course Arsene Wenger had appeared on the bench for the UEFA Cup match against Borussia Mönchengladbach in Cologne a few weeks earlier. Of course the media shouted Arsene who when he was announced, but actually he'd been well known to the people behind the scenes at the club for quite a number of years. David Dein in particular had been pushing to get Arsene Wenger to replace George Graham back in 1995, but unfortunately he was tied in with his contract in Japan with Nagoya Grampus 8, and it wasn't able to happen at that time. Instead the club of course appointed Bruce Rioch. It only looked like a temporary appointment, someone maybe steady and safe to get us through that transition, and to maybe get the fans more on board with it. Of course David Dein went out and bought Dennis Bergkamp and David Platt. That season wasn't a disaster, was it? We did qualify for the UEFA Cup on the final day of the season by beating Bolton 2-1 at Highbury, didn't we? A late goal from Dennis Bergkamp at the clock end, an absolutely fantastic goal that was. But Bruce Rioch's days was never going to last, and unfortunately over the summer he was dismissed, and David Dein steps up his efforts to get Arsene Wenger in a little bit earlier than initially was possible. I say he'd had a bit of an influence already that season with the signing of Patrick Vieira and Remy Gard. Of course Vieira made that great debut, didn't he, back in September 96 when he came on as a substitute against Sheffield Wednesday, completely transformed our midfield almost overnight. We won that game 4-1, and of course the talk was then, if Arsene Wenger has discovered this player, what else can he bring to the club? So we were all quite excited about his appointment, even though we didn't know too much about him. Of course what he did was very quickly started to transform not only Arsenal as a club but also English football in general, with his new diet regimes, his fitness and training methods were completely new to English football, and of course we still had that core of the George Graham side, didn't we? The famous back five was still there. Obviously Ian Wright up front and players like Paul Merson, and you know we still had a very English core of players, and at first a lot of them couldn't get their head around these new training methods and the new diet stuff and the supplements as well that Arsene Wenger introduced. But very quickly the players soon understood what it was about. They saw the benefits to themselves in their own performances, and us as fans as well saw the team transformed. I mean, we've been quite dour to watch, haven't we, in the last few years of George Graham. The Bruce Rioch season wasn't the most exciting football that we played, and we didn't concede that many goals, but we wasn't exactly the most exciting team going forward. But Arsene Wenger changed all that. His focus was on quick passing football that we hadn't really seen, had we? And it was great to watch. And that whole season felt, although we didn't end up winning anything, we finished third in the league, just missing out on the Champions League place, because back in them days it was only the top two that qualified. It was a home defeat actually against Newcastle in the penultimate match of the season that actually cost us the opportunity to get in the Champions League. But even so, despite that disappointment, the season overall was great to watch. We played some great football, and you could see the progress and the difference that Arsene Wenger had already made in such a short period of time. Of course, he understood the problems that there were in the team. He understood the issues that needed to be fixed. And that summer, the summer of 1997, of course, he went out and bought Marc Overmars, Emmanuel Petit and Gilles Grimondi, and of course that would build the team that went on to win the double, of course, in 1998. Of course, his first match in charge was away at Blackburn, wasn't it, in October 1996. It was a 2-0 victory. Ian Wright scored both the goals, if you remember that day. The second one in particular was a great goal, wasn't it, when he ran through and slotted it in. So you could see even as early as that where we were heading under Arsene Wenger. But I say, I don't think any of us could really have anticipated exactly what great times and what great football we would enjoy. For me personally, I mean, I always was and always will be a big massive fan of Arsene Wenger. I know towards the end of his time at Arsenal, things didn't maybe go as we'd hoped, and he was maybe a little bit stubborn in his methods and not adapting to the changes in the game, but I will always remember him fondly for all the great memories that he brought us while he was at the club, the double in '98, and then from that rebuilding that team with players like Thierry Henry, Robert Pires, and becoming the team that would become invincible, of course, in 2004. And even towards the end, of course, he still won those FA Cups, didn't he? In fact, the FA Cup victory in 2014, which ended the 9-year trophy drought, was really memorable, wasn't it? And that was one of the great memories that I've got of Arsene Wenger. But of course, it all started on this day, the 1st of October 1996. I just thought it was worthy of doing a little video just to commemorate that, a day that really transformed the history of Arsenal Football Club. I still don't quite understand why there isn't a statue of Arsene Wenger outside the Emirates Stadium, particularly as it was, you know, the stadium in the first place was a lot down to his ideas as well, wasn't it? So I'm surprised that hasn't happened yet, but maybe it will. And of course, later on this month is the release, of course, of his autobiography, which is much anticipated. I actually can't wait to read that. Let's hope that there's some really good insights in that book. I'm sure he's not going to be critical of the club, at least I hope he's not, but it's going to be really an interesting read, isn't it? I know that comes out in a couple of weeks' time, so be worth getting hold of that, won't it? So that's that for today then, just looking back on the appointment of Arsene Wenger and of course the transformation that he brought to the club. So if you like my channel, if you like what I'm doing, please click the subscribe button down below. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Of course, we all love Arsene Wenger, really, don't we? Even though towards the end a lot of people maybe turned against him. Of course, coming up tonight, we've got that big Carabao Cup tie away at Liverpool. I did a preview of that yesterday, so check that out if you haven't already. I will be doing some live coverage of the game tonight as well. I'll be doing a live video when the team's announced. I'll also be doing a live half-time report and a live full-time report, bearing in mind it could of course go to penalties, so that might be a little bit later than anticipated, but we'll see. Hopefully we can get through and march on to the quarter-finals. Of course, tomorrow as well I'll do a full in-depth review of the game on this channel. And then as we head into the weekend, of course, I'll be previewing the Sheffield United game, which is on Sunday as well, and looking forward to that. And then, of course, going into next week as well, where because there's the international break coming up, there'll be a little bit more time to maybe do some other stuff as well, maybe get some live shows going and all that kind of stuff, because a lot of stuff's happening, a lot of stuff's been happening. And of course, on Monday, we all know what Monday is, transfer deadline day. Hopefully we'll have some good news in the meantime between now and then, with some players coming in, maybe one or two leaving as well, which is always a shame, isn't it, when it doesn't work out for players at the club. But I think we all understand that there are several players at this moment in time that do need to be moved on, hopefully to mean that we can get in the players that we need, which is obviously really important. So that's that there. I hope you enjoyed that video. Thanks for watching, thanks for supporting the channel. Stay tuned over the next few days for some more great stuff coming up, and of course in the meantime, ahead of tonight's big Carabao Cup tie, come on you Gunners!